ESL Mobile Challenge is brought to you by DHL and Pay Safeguard.
Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open Brawl Stars Grand Final qualifiers. Nerves mixed up with different levels of experience. I mean, I'd actually probably say these two. This roster screams like professionalism and, you know, hasn't dropped. I feel like we should just sit back and enjoy the show because that is... We don't really have a clear winner, do we?
No, I don't.
And the map's incoming so that you can see the emerging tactics of these teams and who has a potential advantage over their opponents from, I mean, our professional opinions. So, Ark, anything strike?
Question really, again, is like whether Clash have, exacerbated a lot of their energy already. And it's been a long day for them for sure. And, they're going to come in feeling fresh. Straight away, I do like the SK comp. This is kind of like what I would be running here. Bell mid, I feel, can do wonders, and I was kind of surprised to not see that on the side of the Clash, but ultimately, it is a brawler that which, when you're on the back foot, can really start to thrive. So Clash going to go with the more hard-hitting brawler with the Piper in the mid, and it does get the first initial takedown. That's going to allow Chaos to push through into the mid, and Lenan now in a really great spot to be able to break through this, and does so with the takedown of Skyrex.
This is a fantastic start here from Clash. Lenan just being a nuisance, just placed himself in the bottom left-hand side. This is the grand final. This is the first set of the first game. Make sure you tell your family, friends, your goldfish, everyone you know about this grand final here at the ESL Mobile Challenge Finals, because this is going to be the final series of the season here, and we're going to find out who's going to be crowned champion, as already SK Gaming, not off to the best of starts, but Clash are looking really, really solid.
Yeah, very, very good start and a very aggressive one of that. And the damage as well is continuing to rain in as Lenan is just sitting on that safe uncontested. This guy is coming in now and has to deal with it. But that breakthrough gadget, I got to say, could come into play there. We'll keep an eye on the scoreline yet. And he does get the takedown and still continues to win over the damage. It's gaining a little bit in favor of SK Gaming as well. I've got to say, at the moment, Clash have got off to a great, great start here and exactly what they needed to do.
Absolutely, and Jetta now trying to inflict a little bit of damage onto Gia and to Chaos. Chaos still keeping his distance, but trying to feel out his opponents on the info he's being gathered, or the info he's gathering his teammates, shall we say, considering he was one slightly on the front line. Lenan in that right lane trying to keep Semantic back. Jetta and Chaos having that duel between both of them, and still Gia trying to find an opening on that left-hand side. Both the Colette's absolutely at it in that left lane. But look at this, Chaos looking for the initial push. The opening here now to back up Gia, and does manage to back him up now. But what's he going to be able to do with this here? You can see there's a big percentile difference. Does stroke the safe ever so slightly down to 15% here. Still looking very good for Clash in the next 20 seconds here, Ark.
Yeah, looking very strong, got to be said. I like the way that Semantic did sort of anticipate the Colette coming back to that spot and came in. This is a chance now for SK. They've got a bit of momentum here, and Gia is low as well. But he gets the takedown on Skyrex, and that's going to deflate what Jetten's able to do here. Chaos jumping in as well, just to ensure the final shreds of damage. That's a great start, it's got to be said, for AC Milan Clash.
It certainly was. The amount of objective efficiency, said just his presence being there, being known, and having the fact that not the entirety of SK Gaming, but a couple of members did have to pull back to try and deal with the pressure he was doing. But in the end, as you can see, he was able to stay alive, didn't really overstay his welcome either, just tickled the safe here and there, and also got out just in the nick of time, just making sure to value his life as well. So good stuff on Clash all round, but we'll see if SK Gaming can adapt going to the second game.
Probably the person to hold that brawler. It's going to be Jetson, which is interesting to see. Semantic obviously wants to continue on with the Stu aggression, which we know that he's very, very capable of. And loves to be in that position. So a bit of a brawler twist and shift over towards Jetson, but again, someone who does like a lot of his long range. And there's a good start with the homemade recipe, and much the same way that we saw Clash start, now SK are setting the pace.
And already Lenan having to push straight in. Jetson was going to push on up further towards the center and inflict some damage onto that safe, but after that kill from Lenan on the left-hand lane, this is an exact replica of what happened last time. He actually takes down Skyrex there, which means he is looking to try and stay up the best visibility, trying to affect this safe as much as possible, but does stay alive and does be able to come out there. But look at this though, he is still there, Ark, and it's not the fact that he's overstaying his welcome either, it's just making sure he can get the best value possible. As Semantic finally takes him down, as Gia just pops in to say hello with the Colette twice in a row, and already the same situation as what happened earlier on in that first game, already a 50% difference in comparison already.
I really like the way the Clash are playing right now, and again, those question marks as to whether they'd maybe, spent all of their energy in their previous games definitely being put to rest, but now SK have a little bit of a push coming in. Skyrax has got super connects with that nicely, so Jetton's still able to hold down the mid. Semantic on the left goes on the aggressive. This could be a great chance for SK, especially if they can get the takedown to Chaos, who's tapping onto Semantic, gets the takedown, but the damage will rain in, and Skyrax in a very strong position, but now countered by Lenan, and that's going to bring the momentum back in favor of Clash.
Oh, Jetton did a huge work. 4 shots in a row. He's taken out 2 of the players from Clash just to try and even things out. He had to make such a huge play event just to keep them in this matchup because they need to. There's still 16% to recover from. Now down to 39, and it's going to be looking pretty bad now for Clash. They've been on the back foot for quite a while so far. Skyrax doing so much damage, down to 1%, but it does not matter. SK do come back from that to be able to rejoin him in the center, find an opening, and be able to take out that safe with ease. Great stuff there from Jetton. Fantastic Piper play overall.
Yeah, I always look for, Piper's one of my favorite brawlers to play. I really love to look and analyze, but Jetton definitely doing a great job of just connecting really well with the long range first shot and then following up with the homemade recipe for the takedowns, and that really is the way to play it.
It's like I said earlier on against X, so long as it's not a long-winded series, their mental fortitude should be fine coming to the grand finals. They're not going to be knackered at all in terms of stamina, but like I said, in a tournament setting, it's completely different rather than, spamming out games like 8 to 12 hours a day in matchmaking or whatever, etc. It's a completely different kettle of fish, but we'll find out now as already this first set in the grand final is all tied up. Just to let everyone know at home, it is still a best of 5 sets, and each set is still a best of 5. No advantages taken into account. It's just literally straight up. Whoever wins it, and will take the crown as the ESL Mobile Challenge Finals winner. And already, this is a much slower start from what we're used to here, because already both teams are just patiently waiting to see if there's any kind of room to kind of push through here. There's already a couple of shots dodged from Jetton. Jetton just waiting to see if it can get in range of Chaos, but it's struggling a little bit here.
Yeah, very slow pace, very passive to start this one off, and you can see why. We're all tied up, and I do like the way that both teams are kind of settling on this comp. I feel like it's probably the better of the two, and it kind of has that kind of feeling to me, like both teams have experimented a little bit with other ideas, but now this seems to be what they're all settling on. And at the moment, why go on the aggressive? Why feed your opposition? Just kind of play it safe, play it slow, make sure that if you're going to connect, that it's worth your time, and if you're going to go into those perilous positions to take the risk, then you've got to be aware that that affects your teammates as well, especially when, playing heist. You don't want to find yourselves under pressure early on. So keeping the scoreline at this level is actually not a bad shout in this position, considering how aggressive we saw both teams in the previous games. No one's really... Oh, there's going to be a homemade recipe from Jetton. That's probably not a bad idea. There's obviously good communication there between himself and Semantic to go on the aggressive and break through that right-hand side at the same time there. Jetton as well continues to tap. So he's going to have his super now. And that's going to be quite a good thing to have on the defensive.
The nature of this game compared to the last two is not what we expected. It was super aggro from both teams, and this is going to be slightly different now. But Semantic will do the opening damage onto the save. And do you know what? There's only 25 seconds left. It took a while. It's a huge stalemate situation, but this is it. This is time for Clash to push on up there. That initial kill from Gear will be able to give room for both of those players who want to carry on pushing on up. As Skyrax take a huge amount of damage, but Jetton's going to put a stop to that. The collect will come in from Guille. Look at the percentages so far. SK Gaming have lost a huge amount of damage onto that save. Clash is still up, but only by 13%. And it looks like they will finish it by 16% in the end. That one initial kill in the right lane you saw there. Because normally one of them will try and dictate the pace somehow, some way. But yeah, a very, very slow start in comparison to what we saw in the first couple.
Yeah, and I feel like that was kind of, in a way, what kind of gave Clash the edge. SK are such an aggressive team. They like to be aggressive, and they like to make those very fast and rapid plays to give themselves the advantage. And I noticed when Gear was creeping up on the safe with that super on the collect, that player gets into position, it's going to literally go straight onto your own safe. Mr. P for Skyrax. Okay, I guess then the counter idea being for the Piper. But definitely not a brawler we'd expect to see. The shots over the wall will serve to, some purpose at the very beginning, but nothing that Lenan won't be able to break through with the gadget. Okay, just not what I was expecting from SK at all. It kind of feels like they're looking to bring the pace down potentially even slower, really. But ideally to draw out some of the shots from Chaos and cause a bit of a problem there. Down goes the Gadget as well to be able to keep him low in terms of his health, as he was already shot by Jetton. But yeah, just very, very odd choice there, I've got to say, from SK.
I'm going to agree with you on that one as well, because Lenan's probably thinking you have to, wake up pretty early in the morning for me to fall for that. And he's already going straight in, but Skyrix is making it work here, keeps him at bay. Lenan was trying to force the situation out, but it's not going to happen. The Semantic does win that engagement over Gia, does do a little bit of damage as well, and so does Skyrix in that left lane. As Chaos may be able to take him down, he does not, because Lenan actually finished him up anyway. Both players did pincer him into that left lane, but Jetton now, he knows Lenan is just sitting there biding his time, just waiting to be able to make that push. But Semantic, Ark, I'm not gonna lie to you, he's just doing his own thing at the moment. He's a little lone wolf in that right lane, just making sure to cause absolute havoc here. And you know what? People may think, well, he's only done 16%, but this guy's been on his own for the majority of this game in that right lane, and winning these duels, wins another one, down to 361 HP. And it's a question of, does he want to recover, or does he want to wait and, just go straight for damage? But instead, he's already wasted enough time to help Jetton and one of the other players as well, just to come back and be able to rejoin the rest of the pack. That was Skyrix at the time, and already did a huge amount, down to 64%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether it's the direct result of the Mr. P pick myself, but ultimately, I mean, hey, it's working. Chaos, though, tapping that safe down, and that's going to really close the deficit. Only about 4% in this now, as Clash are in a really advantageous spot. 30 seconds left to go as well. These Mr. P portals will continue to come in, but if they're able to be taken down and have it not affect their game, but down goes Lenan, but Semantic as well in the top part of the map here, just going to town on the safe, and he's going to be hidden very nicely so as well. Lenan has no idea where he is. He gets the super, continues to evade, whilst on the other side of things, like Chaos and Gia going on the attack, and we're neck and neck.
Oh, there's only 5 seconds left. Clash is down to both 37% apiece. Nothing can top with the two, but I think he literally managed to get it. And you saw there, I don't think the Colette actually hit the about 24-25%, but I'm not going to lie to you there, Ark. That was much, much closer of an ending than any of us would have expected. And again, I'm not going to lie to you, talking about that pick with the Mr. B earlier on, wasn't a bad choice. We thought it was going to be a lot worse than we anticipated, but actually worked out a little bit better than what we initially thought. But Semantic was just going off in that right-hand side. The amount of duels he won
was designed to be more of that shock idea. I just don't really feel like it's the go-to here. I don't know. It was a bit of an odd thing to see. And, I don't think we're going to see it too much here either, to be honest. I mean, I don't know, though. Having said that, it's the second time we've seen it today on maps, and maybe it's, something which teams have been experimenting more and more with, but already, look at the difference here. SK with a complete team wipe already, and Sticky feels to pass through to Jetton, but he can't really contest that. IK's able to come for the defense. Honey Molasses going down as well will be a great deterrent in this position. SK needs to hold here. Get an opportunity. Semantic didn't go into a shot. Wisely so gets the takedown, and a very quick start for them. They will get the goal in the first 30 seconds.
Fantastic stuff there from SK Gaming. Clash, you could say, or a lot of people may say, but this is kind of like their home turf in terms of modes. SK coming out strong from the get-go. This is the problem with the HP with, the squad of SK Gaming. It's going to be very difficult to do anything like to dribble it in or to try and bite it past them if they have the numbers, or just trying to have a safer approach. But then, again, it's the same for Clash as well. Semantic in that left lane, just making sure it could be a real pain. Take a huge amount of damage. Good prediction there from Gia, just knowing Semantic's presence. Jetton's actually directly bang on in the middle, accidentally got sandwiched. He's hoping to, get away with something magical, but it's not going to happen. Lenan and Gia were just waiting for that approach. Semantic's been taken down once again. Lenan just going to go towards that left lane, and Gia, even though he's taking a little bit of damage, he's doing a good job just making sure his presence is known to keep the rest of SK back. But that ball is going to be staying in that left-hand side, the bottom left-hand side, for quite a while now, as Semantic and Jetton have to deal with quite a lot of the positional advantage gathered from Clash.
Well, that's a great turnaround. It's got to be said, a lot of pressure was placed on that position. But no! A little bit of a gap there. Oh, no! Oh, no! Skyrix just didn't quite anticipate the breakthrough there. And Lenan absolutely capitalized on that one, as the rest of SK was just too busy in the mid and lane sides. Little bit of a slip up. But again, it's the thing with new gadgets in the mix. It's a difficult thing to rewire your brain when it comes to the awareness, because again, Stu had no wall breaking abilities until very, very recently last week. And there you see just a reason why you've got to be so attentive when it comes to those lanes.
Oh dear, not something they actually initially wanted here. Looks like it will be going into overtime. 10 seconds left until that does happen, as both teams just trying to feel each other out once again. But it's going to be Clash on the defensive, and they're the ones with the advantage in terms of structure to try and repeat, but it doesn't matter. Structure's now gone. It's going to be overtime now. Gears taking a huge amount of damage. So has Lenan. Surely it's going to be SK. Will Jitten be able to put it in? He's doing his best to try and get round to that objective to slide it on in. And yes, he does. As SK Gaming take the first game of set number 2.
Play perfectly. Jitten, perfect way to deal with that. You know you're going to get the healing off the back of it once it's taken down, but you see just in this replay probably how quickly he was able to act on having that super again. You know, very difficult for Clash to necessarily know when that was going to be coming there, but he was in the perfect spot here. Did so well, was outnumbered. There's the shot, there's the heal, there's the super. Got the job done. All the people really pushing SK back, didn't avail to a goal. And it was, you know, really depended on that moment for the bit of a drop of the ball from SK to see the Clash goal. Very different adaptations here. Sprouts coming in on both sides now, and Jitten going to stay stubborn on the spike. And actually, that's an idea which Gear is going to take for himself as well. Already very early aggressive start here. Semantic going in as well. Gets the takedown. Can he get the ball though? Not quite. Gear will stay firm.
Oh yeah, it stays alive on 106. Well, okay, never mind. It does not. As already Chaos in that right lane, just trying to keep Skyrex and Jitten at bay, whilst Lenan is going to give him a little bit of a helping hand, as Gear's going to be rejoining the rest of the pack, but we'll have to wait for the blockade to be able to push on further. But numbers advantage in favor of SK, pushing that objective right up. One team will absolutely do it here, as they've been pushed all the way back. And you can see, in terms of the range game, it's been very difficult for SK, having to dodge and weave so much. Semantic's taken, actually, they've all taken quite a chunk of damage here, Jitten down to 800. But look at this, so have Clash, and Gear able to stay alive, but how long for? The objective's being pushed up towards them, and already Semantic's going to try and push that one in, but Lenan is able to stop it almost on the line. Will kick it back into the top left-hand corner, giving them a little bit more time to work with here, waiting for him on the respawn.
Yeah, I gotta say, I feel like SK may have been able to make that work a little bit better than they did. It was great pressure that led up to it, and Clash definitely, I'm sure, will be feeling a sigh of relief off the back of that one. I don't know whether it was necessarily the save from Lenan, which was the thing there, which I noted more than it was maybe the miss from SK when it came to the shot, but and maybe it could have come from maybe not the pass and walked through a little bit more than that, but either way, you look at it, it was not the goal, and it's going to be tied still at 0 apiece. Lenan on the right gets the takedown onto Semantic. Skyrex now going to try and follow up and does so successfully well. Down goes Jitten though. That's going to leave both Sprouts in the mid just to dance this one out as Gear comes back on the left-hand side. I think there's a little garden mulch there potentially from Skyrex. Wasn't too sure, maybe not. But either way you look at it, Clash now back a bit more in control of this one and fastly approaching overtime.
It certainly is indeed. You're not wrong there. Even though it was an explosive start to begin with, no goals were had. 15 seconds left now, and both teams are just sort of finding advantages. With these two teams in particular, when you see a stalemate with any other matchup, it's like quite slow and quite methodical. But these two are very quick on the mark to try and not hesitate when they smell blood in the water to try and take advantage of some of those some of the kill potential there. But we are going to go into overtime, so we do have a minute left remaining added onto the clock now. Both teams trying to feed each other out once again to see if it can take any member of either team down, but nothing as of yet, as the damage infliction has been very similar and equivalent, but neither team or neither players made that initial frontline push or prioritizing in particular play in order to push on up. But as you can see, it's actually been more SK Gaming who've taken a lot more damage, but will get that one kill, which hopefully will give him a bit more leeway here. Lenan is so weak, does get cleaned up by Skyrex, and this is going to be a fantastic push now for SK Gaming to maybe make something happen.
Looks a nice idea from Guille to try and pass the ball through towards Lenan. Didn't quite get the super off in time to make that moment happen, but now with 10 seconds, they could potentially make this one. Lenan can get super here in a position, and Semantic saw that idea very quickly. He's the last person alive, though. He's a dangerous place. Oh, there's passing coming from Lenan.
Oh, no!
Oh! Oh, no! That is something that you don't...
No, that wasn't that wasn't the one to change things at all, was it? I don't know if it would have got it in time. I think he may have done by the smallest of margins, but just what a shame, what a shame. But do you know what? Well, at the same time, I suppose they didn't lose, but a draw, you know, technically being in purgatory, can't really complain. But yeah, that was could have definitely made it, like, just tying this set. I just can't talk really. I just can't really what we just saw. It was just absolute madness. But yeah, that was a real shame. That would have been a great way to tie up this set and then continue on.
Dealt with a little bit better, a little bit more patiently, and baited out a few shots to make that avail to a goal. And we saw at the end, despite it being a very, very close one to call, I felt like that would have been a goal from Lenan as well. So again, you know, this is unusual to see. To be completely honest, it's very small, very, very small margins of errors. But already, you know, both seems to be brushing off that game and looking towards the next. And this is a great start for SK. That's going to be an early goal for Jetson.
Okay, well, this is different because it took us a few minutes to get the first goal in. This is actually complete opposite end of the spectrum. And yeah, going back to that goal earlier on, I kind of felt like Lenan trying to like shoot it like to the opposite end of the goal line. I think he wouldn't have had enough time. That's why he risked it to try and take that shot in the closest range possible. But look at this, SK with a fantastic start in this game. It's only Lenan left standing. He can't take it further because he's already taken way too much damage. But in all fairness, the damage has already been done. Semantic did a huge amount there. Jet and the Skyrex trying to do the exact same. As Gear's been cleaned up, the Jet is still there waiting to be picked up, ready for the picking here, but they know they can't do it. They wasted way too much time, but wasn't even that. It's just the respawn cycle here, which has worked in Clash's favor. It would have been one after the other they have to deal with, and it just would not worked out for them. So they decided just to hang back a little bit and just wait for that crucial team wipe.
Oh, Lenan's going to push through here. He's pretty a breakthrough as well, so I think SK will be very careful about this one. Semantic low, but interesting. Like, well, I mean, it's not that bad. There's a minute left, but you know, SK going to go for an early pocket of the ball. They want to go all out on this aggressive. Sky's going to shut down the mid lane there and push the action towards Semantic. And now that Jetson's come back into the mix and the plant life there will go possibly, well, not in his favor there. That's actually a really, really nice, solid placement from Guille to ensure that there was no option there. He had to go down. The plant life will, the life plant will stay on the map, however, so it will be good for the defensive. And Chaos should probably get rid of that early on, but will not do so. It'll save the shots for Jetson, who goes down very, very quickly. A lot of pressure then on this defensive here as Clash really want to fight for this ball. But again, until they're able to get to a position where they can get it, SK are in full control.
Oh, and I'm not going to lie to you, mate. Both these teams are making such great use of the Sprout from the usage and just how they try and use it to the best of his ability and getting a lot of efficiency out of it as well. Jetson coming up on the right-hand side, you can see they're just looking to see if it can continue and pile on more of that pressure onto Gear, and Gear does take a lot of damage in the process. Semantic, though, trying to keep them at bay, does and beats Stu on the little side of Lenan, and already now there's only a couple seconds left, and Gear and Chaos have been very aggressive, but yeah, it's just not going to work out here. With the ball being in the bottom left-hand side, it's going to take way at the very beginning, and now 2 games up in this set. And if it was anyone's guess, if no one, well, was watching this, no one made the assumption that Clash would be the ones who are ahead, considering this is, you know, one of their strengths, and it's just a little bit of surprise compared to what we've seen in the previous matchup here. But SK Gaming are going to be very happy with it so far, and I've said it before, where if you do come up from the winners finals into the grand finals, you do have a very slow start to the series, depending on how they are. What is going on? What are we doing? We need to try and sort ourselves out a little bit here, which they could potentially do here. SK Gaming coming up 2-0 in this second set, and I must say that if SK Gaming do take this, then it will demoralize Clash quite a lot, losing to one of their, you know, losing to opponents on one of the strongest game modes here, and it's getting very back and forth. Both of the Roses is up against each other. Lenan whipping out that Mortis, as he's, you know, definitely known for here, but it looks like Skyrex will be able to dribble that in. Completely different compositions here. I do like the Rosa, the Mortis, and the Poco there for Clash, I'm not going to lie, but of course on the opposite side, it's pretty much the same apart from that Stu, and the heavy push is now going to be coming up here. Kaz is going to try and sneak in if he can, but he's taking way too much damage. Will he be able to sneak in? Yes, he does, as Chaos is able to take it in, and Jetson must get a couple of kills right towards the very end, as this game is going to be all tied up.
This is scrappy, isn't it? This
Yeah.
Both teams, though, gotta be said, did read each other pretty well, and I'm sure, no doubt, looking into the histories to see whether each team are going to do this at this exact moment in time, and Skyrex will seal the deal. SK Gaming then will take Brawl Ball.
I don't know, a little bit sweaty now. And then after that, though, SK Gaming were just able to win their first initial engagements twice and were able to just dribble it all in. Yeah, sure, Lenan, you tried to do as much damage as he could against the Rosa, but you know what it's like with the Rosa, especially with the Super. It's just, you know, it's trying to it's just nothing to compare it to, really. It's like just trying to hit a rock, really. Not really going to do much, are you? Just going to dribble it in nicely, and that's going to be it. And I must say, fantastic job overall. It's funny that both teams decided to go for very similar compositions.
For sure, we're going to see it again. And the Bell as well to add into that from SK from both sides. I do like the Bell mid here. We've seen a bit more of Piper coming into play in Hard Rock Mine recently, but I still think that Bell has got a lot of abilities to see people within the bush lurking. But now it's going to be IKS lurking on this left-hand side. Skyrex has got nowhere to go. He's completely out of position. He's completely overran. As a great and very aggressive start for Clash, we'll see SK Gaming straight away in the back of their spawn as quick as they left it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Skyrex is thinking to himself, yeah, I'm getting straight out of there. But Lenan manages to catch him with his trousers down once again. As he takes on two of the players there, Semantic does get one, so not all doom and gloom here for SK Gaming, but it will be now. Lenan is just, he's been on an absolute tear so far, Ark. Literally, everything he's doing, he's actually just improvising on the fly, just switching lanes, making sure he should not have got away with that. Still takes down Jetton, as Skyrex does finally clean him up. He's trying to find gear at the same time, but it looks like he's going to put his focus onto Chaos instead. So this is good retaliation here from SK Gaming. Good trades as well, very back and forth, but they need to keep their eyes on Lenan here, just looking for those crucial flanks, just trying to see if they can bait them out in any way, shape or form, or just try and take him down by any means. But Lenan's trying to recover. He's trying to back off from Jetton. Gear takes down Semantic, and Skyrex has to pull back, almost take it down. He has the 1-6 gems. They could actually start the counter if they get close enough, but they don't want to take the risk, as so far Jetton just sneaking around on that left-hand side.
Yeah, Semantic could not go through the mid there. He knew that he was not the person to be holding those gems, and now we are back to being tied up. Very interesting to see that Clash didn't try to contest that as well. They may have gone for a little bit of an attempt to do so, but now Skyrex starting to connect those shots onto Guille, and a great time to do so as Semantic does go down very narrowly. IKS will heal up very quickly as a result of that bouncy castle gadget, and now again we're seeing that same idea of Skyrex being outnumbered, and he's got to stay alive this time. He does immensely well on the jukes, and Semantic out of nowhere coming in with a takedown, immediately responded to by IKS, but nonetheless, where did he come from?
That's what I was thinking at the same time. Countdown to start, but it's been reset once again. It is 9-0, another takedown. SK Gaming is looking very good for them to get this first game on the board. But Lenan's been taken. No, that's going to be, yeah, that's going to be absolutely it here. As Guille will be the last one left standing. He realizes it as well. It's just too little, too late. Going to be put in a really bad situation, and that's going to be over. But SK Gaming will be able to take this first game in this set.
Did like the pressure though that we saw, especially that first stage, when I think it kind of caters to a lot of ideas and it can shut down, even something as strong as Rosa and other heal ideas as well, with the Rico being in such a great place right now. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if we start to see some adaptations occurring in a little bit of a moment's time as the mind games start to take their toll and start to come into the mix. Again, but they now also need to demonstrate themselves in gem grab, massively so.
Yeah, but just adapting on the fly midway through each of these games. It's not after each game, it's literally during these games. And this is what separates these two teams. It's already now seen a couple of changes over the end on that right-hand side, fighting against Semantic. Jetton have to deal with Lenan's shenanigans once again here. Ark, you know what he's been up to. Semantic managed to win that engagement over Gear and push up into that right lane. Lenan does take down Skyrex. We've been waiting for him to get up to some kind of mischief here, Ark, and he does. He's still hovering around the bottom right-hand side, waiting to get that crucial flank onto one of his players. But Skyrex knows exactly what he's up to. Managed to keep him at bay, taking a huge amount of damage as well. Will he be able to clean him up? Oh, just out of range, and Lenan's able to fight for another day. But you can see on the left-hand side as well, Guille and Jet are still fighting back and forth, and still somehow survives, and Chaos does take down Jetton.
This is much better from Clash. I like the change to the Tara as well. We know Guille can do there, and he's going to hunker down this side here. Might be the better side for Semantic to switch to be fair, as he can break through a lot of that, but Jetton did really well to push it back as quickly as he did. Semantic low though, and Lenan knows that, wants to go on the hunt, can't quite connect the shots. The healing, the Gasso healing from the star power there coming into play, and Semantic is eventually taken care of. Countdown for Clash, and a great time for it.
Certainly is indeed. 12 seconds left for them to try and make something happen, but it looks like it's going to be too little too late. Skyrex is going to be pushing on up, but he would not be able to make any kind of difference so far. Lenan is just trying to stay alive. He doesn't have to, though. He doesn't, man. He's already done his job perfectly. And that was a much more convincing. It's just very dodgy what he gets up to and gets away with so much. But this is his individual prowess once again. It's just outstanding to see him. Not the fact that he gets away with a lot. It's not that at all. It's just he's just choosing, you know, his positions wisely, choosing when to be the aggressor, the flanks he selects, and it's just overall his decision making that just makes him a tip-top player here in this matchup.
If anything, having your superhero as Tara is similar to Gene. You don't have to use it just simply to be able to flex it and make your opponent be wary of you, and it makes a more cautious playstyle. So I do like that, and Clash are going to continue with that. I think that's pretty wise under the circumstances. We're tied up in terms of the games of this particular set. Semantic and Lenan. Semantic lower than the 2, but the support from Skyrex key here. But that bounce back, it won't, and so Skyrex will seal the deal in the end. But yeah, I feel like SK at the moment needs to get these takedowns a little bit faster to be able to assert more pressure.
Yeah, Lenan did a great job trying to stay alive and also gets that first initial kill onto Semantic. He should have pulled back a little bit sooner, though, because Skyrex was pretending to back away, but actually he just came back. He managed to clean him up, but that's going to be fine as Lenan takes down Semantic once again. And this is where it's going to cause problems. Look, he's on that far left-hand side. He's pretty much on their side on the map, and they don't know what to do. They need to prioritize the kill. Again, Skyrex has been literally just playing out of his mind so far. He knows that he has to prioritize Lenan. He knows that if he comes up any further or he does get away, then it's going to be really, really tough for them to come back from. But he's definitely been the game changer so far, keeping SK in this matchup.
Great takedown from Lenan on the left-hand side there as well. Chaos Mark too, so definitely wary of that. Lenan maybe taking the moment there, maybe intentional, you never know. Sometimes when the players are a little bit further back, then they might try to trigger some of those, but I think that may have been a little bit of a slip. As Skyrex now reaps the rewards, 3 gems into the pocket. That's going to be a fantastic moment, especially with Jetson locking down this right-hand side. Semantic and the heavy fire goes down. A bit of a saving grace move for Clash. They have got the Tara super to hand. The black hole will be vital here for Gear to connect with if he wants to go for it. And Skyrex is continuing to miss these marks from Chaos. I mean, he's marked anyway, but I have noticed he has been continuously able to evade a lot of them. But now look at Gear in the spot here. What a great position for him. Taken down, though, and a chance for Clash to be able to capitalize.
Certainly is indeed. The countdown has begun. And already Lenan and Chaos looking to try and find that crucial opening. But Jetson has been cleaned up. There's going to be numbers advantage here for Clash. But how are they going to be able to do this? Will they be able to survive to the bitter end? Jetson can come in at least body block for a little bit. Semantic does take down one. And looks like they will be able to stay alive and to win at the second game. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, you know, I think out of all the games we've seen in the last few sets, I think we've had one which was kind of convincing to a certain extent. And that's literally been about it from what we've dissected so far.
I gotta shout out Skyrex in that countdown stage. He went with a blind mark. He just kind of used his initiative to realize that this moment here, just blind mark, connected, got the support. Guille would have been a real danger there. He could have got a suck and that could have turned around the whole entire moment. But it was perfect.
And where his position is going to be, because Lenan is only, let's be honest, there's only so far he can go with those pushes. Only a few tiles where he's going to be. But at the end of the day, Skyrex still making great predictions on where he's going to be pushing from, or you know, his next decision making, or next decision he's going to make in the end. Lenan and Chaos already get the first 2 kills, and what a surprise, Lenan on that front line just getting ready to cause more mischief.
Yeah, honestly, to reiterate that as well about Skyrex, for me, I feel like he's a bit of a rock in the competitive community. Yeah. He's so humble and so quiet. I love the fact that we had an interview with Skyrex because he's very elusive in that sense. And, you know, he's always so solid. And often because of his role, he's very supportive, very mid-based, and lets, you know, a lot of the aggression more shine through Semantic and Jet. And I feel like he often gets forgotten, and he should never be in that position because ultimately he's been around the longest out of most of the players in the scene. And just does such a great job of providing that support, and the way that he approaches every single game and getting a nice mark and a follow-up onto Lenan, and he's able to then come back into the mid. Continuation shots onto Gear as well on the left-hand side to allow Semantic to come from behind there. And as quickly as that, you see just how these subtle plays can make such a big impact when it comes to the team as an overall.
You saw Semantic, he had enough. He wanted to push in forward in that left lane to take down Gear, which he successfully does. Chaos still with those 6 gems in hand. In the front line as well, just trying to get in range with a couple of players on SK, but it does pay the price in the end. Lenan is having to try and stay alive. The countdown has started, but who do you go for first? Well, of course, you're going to try and take down Semantic. He's the one with the low HP, and look at Ark, he actually gets away. He actually gets away from that. It looks like he's going to be okay. He's got plenty of time. Semantic's just going to chill for a bit, gets a kill anyway onto Guille, so he's going to be pretty damn happy about that. And SK Gaming win that set. Yeah, that was just maybe go and try and get away instantly, or maybe not think about it too much, or just delaying it just a little bit. But he delayed that comeback by quite a mile. Like, he delayed it heavily and still managed to bring those gems back. Still quite surprised, but great play there from Semantic. Great play from every single one of them, actually. They all did their job well to make sure they can secure that set. Saver. And we had to deal with Lenan quite a few times as well, but it looks like they put a lot more pressure onto him this time round, and we're going to see the matchup again. We're going to go into set number 4 in this grand final. If you're just joining us, like I just said, it is a grand final. It is currently 2-1 in terms of series scoreline going to set number 4. We're going to go on for a little bit of bounty, just looking at the compositions so far. I think this is, in a perfect world, this is what we expected, as normally we see the side of SK Gaming, there is Rock the Brock instead, with the Nunny and the Piper, and it looks like this time normally you do have a tick, but it looks like they're playing more range, going for the Bell and the Piper instead. Not something we normally see every day, probably because we see the Bell banned on so many different matchups and so many different occasions, but it's looking good. It's going back and forth. Clash have that early lead and that blue star as well.
Yeah, I thought Scarix may have been considering the return to center there for the protection, but I think at the end of the day, it was inevitable, really, that Justin was going to take the hit there. I kind of prefer the Brock here myself over the Bell, mainly because of the lanes and the way this map's kind of situated. But, you know, definitely I feel like the days of Tick may be dead when it comes to shooting Star. Maybe more so for players that are kind of newer to the game, but definitely in the pro scene, we're seeing far less of that particular brawler. And yeah, Brock for the side of SK, Bell for the side of Clash here. There's the return to center on the left-hand side, connecting with our Chaos, but at the moment, not really that much in it. The blue star is with Skyrex, so that's definitely a consideration here to be had. Clash in the lead with 1 star, and now 30 seconds remain. We're going to see a bit of a push, I feel, here on the aggressive side for SK, or a peep. Something needs to be happening soon, because time is ticking.
Yeah, textbook stuff as always, especially on this map and on this mode. 20 seconds left. It's SK do not want to be the ones to, you know, have to push with a massive disadvantage. Jessen took a huge amount of damage that you saw just now, barely able to stay alive. But this is going to be the final engagement. But already SK have taken way too much. Is Lenan able to stay alive? Yes, he will. Does get away, but Chaos takes down Skyrix and also Jetten. Great way to close that game out. So Clash with the early lead.
In final set that they've done so. It's going to be mentioned as well, you know, going back to our play days, that every single play day that these two teams played, it was always going down to the 5th and final set. It was always that way. It was always a 3-2. So, you know, I feel like this could be a mode which caters towards Clash. The Bell pick again, I was kind of necessarily surprised to see. I think it's definitely up there in the top 2.
Get quite stale sometimes when we see, you know, a couple of ticks involved and we don't see the Brock, or maybe we don't see the Bell or anything like that either, just to add additional aggression. But it's nice to see that both teams are looking for that, you know, aggressive factor here. Already Chaos takes down Samantha, looking to gain that blue star, which they rightly do. And this is going to be a brilliant start here for the side of Clash, looking to try and take this set if they can, to take us to the 5th and final set. But still early days in this set so far, as already they're trying to look for any kind of opening. Semantics took a huge amount of damage from that last attack. Lucky for him, he will be able to stay enough to fight another day. Semantics just looking to see what info he can find. As it's only taken a sprinkle himself in that right lane, but will have to pull back ever so slightly as Chaos and Lenan take down 2 of the players of SK. Skyrix looking to try and stay up to the best of his ability, which he does. Oh. And you saw Skyrix does take down Gear. So, you know, not all hope is lost. Oh, I was going to say, not all hope is lost yet, but Chaos takes down Skyrix. Straight afterwards, Jetten cleans up Lenan. Sorry, Ark, I'm trying to give you a chance to speak here, but my goodness, it's just absolute carnage.
It's so chaotic. I like the changes from Clash. I felt like it was a good time to keep SK guessing, and going to the Brock, going to the Piper, definitely could kind of see that that would be the adaptation there. A lot of that return to center from Scarx was on point. It took the takedown, but SK are not looking comfortable. I've got to say it. They're looking a little bit flustered. They're getting good pressure now, but they've already got to get a lot of takedowns. They need both GA and IKS, but everyone's kind of low right now. But then the pressure's... Oh, so Scar's going with the peep. That's the reason why. But it was returned straight away. Return back to Chaos. There's the takedown. 10 stars 14. It's still with Clash right now. And they've got the blue star as well. Oh, the Nan coming in as well. Clash are looking so strong. This peep's going to connect. Couple of mistakes starting to appear for me from SK, and Clash are not hesitating to make the most of this one.
Oh, GA was dodging like an absolute trooper. It looked like Neo at one point. 2-0 in this set, and if they do win this next one, it does mean we'll be going to a 5th and final set in this grand final. Let's be real, Ark. We couldn't have it any other way, yeah?
Yeah, it would be very unlike an El Clasico grand final to not go to the 5th and final set, as it has been nothing else but this entire year round with these two teams. So, you know, I mean, it would seem right, it would seem fitting, it would be a fantastic way to end every single takedown to get this one back under control, because Clash are looking like they're just no stopping them right now in Bounty.
Looks like the comps have changed slightly once more. Looks like they've gone back to the Bell pick this time. So let's see how it's going to work in their favour. They did manage to rock with the Bell in the first game, and they were perfectly fine with it. So just switching up to maybe more to their strengths in terms of their assets here. So we're going to see how things are going to turn out in this game. Remember, if Clash win this game, it will be tied 2 sets, all going to a 5th and final set. But let's see how it's going to pan out first, though, as Chaos is already causing a lot of trouble for SK on that left-hand side. Needs to back away. He's taken way too much damage, just using the range with the Bell and the versatility of the Bell as well, and also that Piper pushing in for that right-hand lane. So normally see a lot of kills at this point, considering what we've seen from both of these teams, but still, you know, a little bit of a surprise here. We're getting a lot more of a stale matchup in comparison to the previous 2 games. Jetting on 48 HP there, Ark. Oh dear. And he saw as well one of the players having to take a huge amount of damage, but still no kills as of yet.
Scarx going out now this time round, but Jet taking a lot of damage, goes down himself. The homemade recipe coming in clutch, and IKS with a really nicely timed return to sender, but returned in favor by Skyrex there. This is very close, and if you notice, like Skyrex and GA keep swapping lanes at the moment. Skyrex obviously wants to be able to take on the Bell, and you know, Clash keep kind of mixing that one up. Jetson was struggling in the early stages of this game, but now another peep from this game. This is better. They got to keep cycling these peeps and have them coming in, and GA is going to be the target for it. That's going to give SK a lead. 20 seconds remain.
They've still got time left, though. They don't need to push too far up as of yet. Just out of range here. That was very close. They need to waste probably another 3 or 4 seconds in order to then make this initial push. But yeah, that's going to be it. They take way too much damage here. Lenon can maybe try and find something, but Chaos has taken down Jetton. But still, though, just a tad too late. They were in a bit of a bad spot, you saw there, in terms of positional advantage. Only by 1 star, but SK Gaming showing some life in this set.
Yeah, I just wonder, is it too little too late? You know, like, have they kind of already given Clash too much of an open window here? They've got a lot of momentum going in, despite SK starting to show some signs of life. I don't know. I mean, ultimately, decided to be a bit more clever in the way that they were trying changing a couple of lanes and making the matchups more favorable for themselves, and they are going to do just that. I think this is the wise choice from Clash, but they got to make it work, and they've got to make it work now.
Yeah, they certainly do indeed. Going back to the Brock now, switching out the Bell. And you can see, look at that, Geared looking to try and clean up Jetton. But Skyrex takes down Chaos here. Skyrex is still alive on 166 HP and still gets another kill there. What a great way to start things off from SK Gaming, I must say here. Right? This is probably one of the sweatiest shooting star games I've seen in a while.
I can't help but feel like Clash should have done better on the Skyrex moment there, and he actually was able to get a kill during that moment as well. Gia going to break the left-hand side, and I think that's not a bad shout at all, but keep coming in now, does get the most important person that he could have gone for. Skyrex going down, dropping 4 stars and the blue star, and now Clash are going to close in on this spawn. They want to get the lead at this moment in the game. Return to center, that will seal it as well. That's going to bring them the lead by 1 star with that blue star, but they ain't done yet. They are staying firm in this position. And why would you not? As the peep comes in, that might push things back a little bit.
Yeah, they're hungry for more. Just been a little bit cautious here. They've taken a bit of damage from that. As you can see, Skyrix has taken down Chaos, which means that now Clash have to be the ones to be on the aggressive. Actually, I say that as though they haven't. They have done the entire damn time. And once again, Gia just trying to dodge and weave to see if he can find something left, and now knocked down to 420 HP. And it's going to be very tough here. Gear's making sure he can just stay alive if he can, and so is Chaos as well. They don't want to push up with a disadvantage once again and just dodging so many projectiles, but they're the ones who need to try and go on the attack. They need to make this push happen, and Gear takes up the damage, and oh no, Semantic does take down Chaos, making matters worse for Clash. Semantic's actually pushing on the right-hand side. That's going to be it pretty much. And Semantic just diving on, and it doesn't matter. And a nice little bit of flair there from Semantic right at the very end. And SK Gaming bring
a serious gear right now. They've realized that, you know, look, we've been here before, we've done it before, we've even got reverse sweeps over this team. Why are we struggling? And they've just absolutely started to realize that even in this defensive position, with maybe some more communication going on in the background and a bit of momentum and team spirit going on, they are now turning this game around, and Clash have got to win this.
So they absolutely deserve it, considering the comeback they've had to make in this set. So let's see what's going to happen, guys. This could be potentially the final game here at the ESL Mobile Challenge Finals. If SK Gaming win this, this is going to be a tournament point for them, and they'll win the entire thing. But Clash, though, and definitely not going to go out at all at the very get-go. They do get their first initial kill. But remember, though, SK Gaming do have that blue star. Jetton collected it, you know, only a few seconds ago, done a little bit of damage, or tried to, onto Chaos. And it's going to be looking very tough here. You can see SK Gaming have been a little bit more passive compared to what they usually are. Probably because they switched out back to the Bell, which means obviously got a little bit more range to just give them a little bit of help in hand. But you can see there's a lot more caution here as well. Let's see what happens and see what Clash can do to hold this lead.
Yeah, pretty slow pace start, and I think rightly so, as now the peep starts to come into play, buying some time to make sure to capitalize on the damage. Return to sender, returned back again, as we see now players being very quick to their thumbs, but Chaos will survive for the transaction. It'll bring them back a little bit in terms of the spawn, and now SK have got to make this moment count. Semantic wants to break, and he will do so as well, and that's going to give Lenan less places to hide. The score is tied. Blue Star, though, in favor of SK.
40 seconds left. That's all SK Gaming need to do now to try and hold on to this, not just this series, but this tournament win potentially. But Clash are not going to take this line down. And every single time it's gone to the final engagement, it's actually gone in favor of SK Gaming. So Lenan does get cleaned up, and Gia's taken a huge amount of damage in that left lane once again. But when are they going to make this initial push? 20 seconds left. SK Gaming do have that blue star still, remember. And let's see who they're going to try and take down first. But they've already taken way too much damage. They're going to push up on that right-hand side. The Nana's find an opening, but look at the positional advantage Clash have. There's only 4 seconds left. Can they take down at least one of them to try and clean him up? And Lenan takes him down. Wins it by 2 stars. Guys, we are going to a set number 5. God.
What way did that just happen? Oh my word. I really hope that actually after today we get some of the caster reactions we saw in the North America region last night at the end of the stream, because my reaction there was priceless, I can assure you. My word, I was not... You can see just how little room Gene, Ems, and Ems and Amber. So Amber here out of the mix is important. Ruff's going to come into play then for that reason for SK, and on the other side as well for Clash. Other than that, it's going to be, yeah, definitely. I'm going to look around for star powers. I'm looking and seeing this build promotion on the side of Clash. Didn't quite catch it on SK's side, but definitely pay attention to see whether Jetson is running that. I assume so. And it's definitely going to be SK all about defense right now, doubling down the left-hand side as our Clash. Very similar brawler ideas, and Lenan's going to break that side. That's an interesting start, got to be said.
Here we go, guys. Final set in this grand final for all the marbles, like we rightly said, once again, to see who's going to take this entire championship. And now Semantic just push on that right-hand side. Lenan goes diving in, has already taken out Skyrix, and Gia is going to try and help him with the Bell, and does take down Jet in there. Brilliant stuff, great teamwork, great coordination there from both Gia and Lenan, and also good teamwork once again from the exact same 2 players. just keeping SK at bay, and Jetson, he's going to have to wait.
Yeah, Lenar's in a great spot here, and look at the pressure now that SK have got to deal with. It's very close. It's on the other side of things. The zone is being capped, but at the moment, the lead is with AC Milan Clash, and there's no seeing them off the zone at the moment. Skyx clears up the right-hand side, but if nothing changes, this is going to go surely. There's Semantic there, still sitting there, and but at the moment, the numbers are in favor of Clash. They're going to take it by the narrowest of narrow margins, but nonetheless, remained untouched. That's a great start. You can't do
chance to try and get him out. They couldn't. Yeah. They stayed in there the entire time. And do you know what? That takes a lot of balls, a lot of discipline there to stay in for that long. Like Semantic definitely held his own there to make sure that, you know, okay, he can't really do much apart from just gain as much percentile from the objective. But I don't blame him either, because at the same time, they thought at the same time like he's got a few...
ready for SK to take along from that one. And, you know, great start for Clash. They'll be very, very pleased with that.
I don't think either team made a bad decision anyway. I think what Semantic did was perfectly fine. It's just they couldn't find an opening as they were holding on to that left zone, which was a little bit of a shame. They had a few chances, but just couldn't make them work. As now, Jetson and Skyrick still in the center and that left lane, trying to keep all the players at Clash at bay on that right-hand side, but still getting that percentage so important with that objective. Lenana's just on that run and trying to put on a little bit of pressure, but Gear's trying to do the same thing as well, but Jet's making sure he cannot push up as gets behind Skyrick. Skyrick's still alive here, but also trying to be proactive to take out those sandbags to give themselves a bit more leeway. But Chaos does take down Semantic. It's going to be an opening for them to push on up as Skyrick and Jetton had to relieve that pressure and now on a defensive.
Okay, well, at the moment, Skyrick's got to get this mark and he's got to make it count. Onto Guille, nicely done. You see how quickly the takedown was off the back of that idea. Ruffs will give the supply drop over then and give the damage buff, and that's a really dangerous brawler to have it in all fairness now. And we're starting to see a very different approach. Semantic just powering through the wall there with the breakout, and it goes down in the end, but they're looking a much better SK Gaming for me right now. They can hold this mid enough, long enough for the for Semantic to come back into the mix. There's also a supply drop going over to Guille, so leveling out the playing field just a little bit. There's two buffs on the favorite clashes. They should be able to defend this better than SK on the offensive, but one takedown is all that will take, and that's one for Lenan. That's going to bring the pressure straight back to Skyrex.
Oh, Lenan and Semantic had the exact same idea, but Lenan came up on top. He also takes down Skyrick. Semantic's going to get cleaned up as well. Jetton all on his lonesome in that last position, and Chaos cleans him up. That's going to be a team wipe. Huge advantage here for Clash to try and walk away with this game if they can. But again, oh, Chaos takes down Skyrick. Jetton again in the exact same position. Semantic trying to get another angle. He does not. He gets cleaned up. That's going to be another team wipe, but Skyrick is pushed in way too deep. He's going to be alone, just segregating the spawns once again, or he could be trying to distract, but it's not going to be enough. And this is just absolute textbook stuff from Clash. Only 5% more. Skyrick does take down Chaos eventually, but it's going to be way too little too late. And I must say, that was a convincing win there from Clash, as we saw SK Gaming were just way too spread out on a number of occasions, numerous occasions to say the least. And dare I say it, Clash now.
Of clutch moments in Bounty to consecutive wins, potentially here on Parallel Plays. And that, you know, this is the position that SK were in the previous set. I mean, they've got to really now start to turn this around, and quickly at that. More often than not, it was Skyrex left alone, so for them to have to deal with.
Here we go, Clash on tournament point. They looked phenomenal in that last game, much better compared to the first one anyway. And SK Gaming, they're going to have to try and reverse sweep in this set. Can they do it? They definitely can, but let's see if they can perform any better compared to these last couple of games. Semantic and Jetton are looking to bait and switch against Guille when they find the opportunity, and they've done a little bit of damage to him, but not a huge amount to turn the tide, as Guille just looking to try and recover, as both Jet and Semantic just trying to dilly-dally around behind the structure to try and see if it can find out where Guille is going to push from. They know he's going to stay in that left lane, but at the same time, Clash do have a tiny edge in terms of objectives. Skyrick's trying to see if it can try and push Clash out of that right zone, but they haven't as of yet. And it looks like it's been very similar in terms of what they want to do in terms of plan of action. And already, though, both on 50% here, Ark.
Yeah, this is what I kind of expected to see, just to be playing it safe. And Semantic now with a very important takedown, but returned very quickly by Lena on the right-hand side of the Skyx to keep the pressure balanced as the supply drop comes in, giving him that damage buff and the additional HP as well. The sandbags are going to go down pretty swiftly as Skyx does land the mark onto Lenan as well. Much better from SK. Jetson so low on the left-hand side, though, is forced back as a result of that. And now Clash is starting to creep on up the map.
Still no objective difference yet as Skyrex pushing all the way up on the right-hand side. Semantic takes down Gia, and this is looking very good for SK Gaming as Lenan is trying to contest the best he can against Skyrex. Gets cleaned up. Chaos trying to stay alive. Not going to happen. That is going to be a team wipe in favor of SK Gaming. Lenan is going to be the first player to come out the gates, but how long for? It looks like they're going to be in the same situation as what they put SK Gaming in that last game, up by 30%. As Skyrex takes down Geo, which is going to give him a lot of leeway now. Chaos is just trying to keep himself alive, which he does to try and regain an element of control. And Semantic having to deal with Lenan. If he takes him down, that will be huge. But he misses a few crucial shots here, Ark, as he does get away. The entire team pushing up in a wolf pack. But this is literally tooth and nail here, Ark.
Yeah, such an important moment there for SK to get that zone as long as they did, but the return now, they've got to keep this under control, they've got to keep Clash back, and that's a very important takedown from Jetson onto Chaos. Semantic dancing again and hitting a few more of these shots this time round. Skyrex for support. This is definitely looking like SK are giving themselves a couple more fighting chances in this series, and this could be the time that they can get inside their head to Clash to bring it even closer. I feel like they've dodged a bullet. Can they dodge a couple more? I don't think there's any time that Clash yet. Nothing they can do about this one. A saving grace, but will they continue this on?
Ooh, SK Gaming are clawing back here, Ark, and you gotta love to see it as well. I was a little bit worried at first because it took a ton of action. Skyrex was just trying to find an opening in the right-hand side, and you saw on the opposite end the player who was playing Bell for Clash, I think it was Gia at the time, doing the exact same thing. But it took a while. And this is what I mean by adaptation. But when it's kind of like that, it's very difficult, especially.
Got still a bit of a mountain to climb here. They've got to hold off Clash to have any chance of not leaving at this stage. You know, if Clash win this game, they will be declared victorious of this tournament. So everything at stake on this game.
Tournament point number 2 for Clash now. So you see, hopefully, if SK Gaming do win this, it will be their second tournament point as well. It's just absolute madness now. But still, SK Gaming with a very early advantage. Both teams just trying to feed each other out once again. Chaos just actually pushed down very aggressively. Oh, look at this, though. Skyrex has found an opening here. They're taking down Lenana's. Jet is taking him with him just to try and support him just a little bit more. Lenana's rejoined with the rest of the pack, but what's their plan of action going to be? As Lenana's trying to push on up, but every single player from Clash has taken some heavy damage. They're just walking away with the objective here, Ark, already up to 66%.
Yeah, SK is starting to batten down the hatches, and again, I was wondering whether is anyone going to be bold enough to go straight onto the aggressive early on, and that, I think, was a great play from SK at the perfect time. The Jesse pick is very strong here. I just don't know whether it has the aggression to match the SK Gaming comp. Lenan on his own, going to get taken down surely very quickly as all 3 players focus on just him. Chaos now has turret, but it's just going to go into the middle of the map, in the middle of nowhere, not on the zone to defend it, where it needs to really go. And I feel like SK now are in such a good spot to take this potentially here to tournament point.
Yeah, 3% left. Skyrex, we have to talk about him. He's been a bit of a cheeky mare throughout that majority of that game, hitting so many perfect shots. Okay, we could talk about the strategy and everything behind it, but he was just hitting everything, was he? He was being a little aim star across the board in that right lane. Phenomenal stuff with that Bell. And I must say, now it's going to be tournament point number 3 for Clash and tournament point number 2 now for SK Gaming. So once again, this is for all the marbles, Ark. This one game is the $9,000 difference. Game in this series of the Grand Finals. We would not have had it any other way, and we're going to see who's going to be able to get that early start, the early bit of leeway here coming into this final match.
Okay, we got the mirror matchup again. I think it's wise on the side of Clash. They took the risk with the Jesse. It didn't work out. They didn't want to take that risk a second time, but I do like the way these shots are ricocheting between iChaos and Gear. It's definitely going to favor Clash in terms of the aggression. And Scarex now, yeah, taking down that right-hand side lane and staying firm to that as opposed to the mid. I think that's a very smart move from him as Lenan very, very low here. One shot is all overtaken. That's going to be a takedown as well. SK creeping up onto the zone, and they start to cap in their favor on that top right-hand side.
Certainly do indeed. Skyrex has been an absolute champion in these last couple of games, just doing the same thing again and again, getting away with it with his great aim and good execution as well, just finding these exploits. Jeton, though, he needs to try and stay alive a little bit longer just to not overstay his welcome or not to overextend, but he doesn't, just slightly, but does stay alive. Semantic, oh, dearie me. You can see Gear does take down Jeton, but does actually get the trade onto Gear, which is perfect now. Skyrex trying to back away, does stay alive. Jeton rejoins with the rest of the group. Good stuff from him to make sure he can support Skyrex to keep him alive. Using the sandbags as well as a bit more cover. You see Semantic again takes down Gear up by 11%. This is going to go straight down to the wire here, because now we're going to those final moments.
Now it's creeping around. That's a very important hit from Scarex, and he comes through the walls, flying there. Lenan didn't hesitate at all, and rightly so. He's going to start to cap this zone, and SK have got a problem. They've got to get Lenan. He just powers through, but goes straight into the fire of all those bullets. Jeton juking for his life. My goodness me, very important shots evaded. Now back to full health as Semantic comes in to help. There is the nest egg popping. That's going to get the slowdown, but didn't seem to deter much as Scarex on the right-hand side pushing through. SK with the T-wipe, and that is such an important moment for them in this tournament competition. Lifespan.
But how are they going to be able to bring this back, though? They're focused on completely different players. They're not focused on one player in particular. Skyrex is still able to stay alive. Semantic takes down one. Lenan managed to get the trade onto Jeton straight after that. Skyrex is still trying to stay alive in that right-hand side. Finally gets taken down. Semantic does clean it up. And it looks like Clash have pretty much given up. They've known it's way too little too late. SK Gaming will be your champions for the ESL Mobile Challenge Finals. They were down by 2 games in that last set and brought it back 3-2. And do you know what, Bangs? I can see you're shaking your head. You're thinking, what on earth has bloody gone on here in this series? But you know what? We couldn't have had it any other way once again.
AC Milan Clash, you have now earned the right to call that match El Clasico, Arc. You have definitely earned that right. I mean, as we look through some replays on the screen, was there a particular moment in that match? I'm going to assume it was the bounty at one point, but that was the turning point for you, Arc.
Yeah, the El Clasico, I'll go as far as to say, yeah. I mean, that bounty moment, I mean, that really kept AC Milan Clash in the game. And as we saw, you know, their performance in the early stages of parallel plays really could have meant that this went a different way. Having that moment, having that shot.
Know you're breaking codes, but your credibility and all fall like dominoes. Can you really take a stance?